everyone. This is Mrs. Saida Joycey, Assistant Professor of English, St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science, Kadalur, Tamil Nadu, India. I am happy to meet you all once again in this session. And we have already discussed one of the interesting poems in American poetry, which had allowed us to contemplate on the idea of death, Emily Dickinson's Because I Could Not Stop for Death. And this is also yet another discussion on another interesting poem, The Emperor of Ice Cream, written by Wallace Stevens. Wallace Stevens is a 20th century American poet. He is known for the very common vocabulary, the expression of ideas through images, the phraseology, and the communication of ideas which are highly philosophical. For this reason, Wallace Stevens is considered to be a very difficult poet. He is a challenging author to be read and appreciated. Coming to this poem, The Emperor of Ice Cream, Wallace Stevens had included this poem in his biggest anthology, Harmonium, which made him well acclaimed as a poet. The Emperor of Ice Cream is a poem that allows us to contemplate on the idea of death. Here, the word emperor is suggestive of the aspect of death which conquers all of us. So, in the face front of death, both the king and the pauper has to surrender. Nobody is so powerful to challenge the aspect of death. So, death simply conquers all. That is the bitterest fact and the reality of human existence. So, our life is like an ice cream. So, what are the various thoughts or the pictures that run across our mind when we think of the word ice cream? Ice cream is known for its very short duration. So, as long it is long lasting, not long lasting while you hold it. So, there is an interesting saying: life is like an ice cream, eat it before it is melting. So, we have to relish, live, enjoy life because life is very much short in its span, it is temporary. And ice cream, comparing life with ice cream, it also suggests the transient, illusory nature of life. Life itself is like a maya, it is an illusion, it is like a waking dream. It comes to its end before we completely understand what life is all about. So, the ultimate emperor of this ice cream is the factor of death. So, this is the central focus of the poem. The entire poem is divided into two stanzas. The last concluding line of every stanza is the only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. So, the central focus of the poem is the emperor which conquers life, or the emperor, the factor which rules out the life itself is the idea of death. So, the only seeming reality, whether we accept it or deny it, is the idea of death alone. So, death brings the end point to all human pursuits, aspirations, dreams and desires. So, the first lengthy stanza allows us to visualize the active life of the Americans in the 20th century. So, whether it is a party or whether it is a funeral, people are meant for socializing. They take opportunities. They seize every opportunity to make a party, to feast, to dance, to have a get together and to socialize with people. So, the first stanza speaks about the active life of the Americans even at the point of a funeral. So, it is the first stanza. It speaks about it creates the image that a woman is dead. And so, This news is given to all the friends and the neighbors. The reaction and the attitude of the wake attendees, those who attend the wake ceremony before the funeral. So the wenches, the people who come to the death ceremony, give us a clue to what sort of a woman is the woman who is demised or dead. So this is probably a woman who is stricken by poverty in her lifetime. So due to her poverty stricken condition, naturally she had to take to a very careless, immoral life. So she is haunted by men who are immoral, and her associates happen to be the wenches. So the word wench means a prostitute. So these when the death news of the woman is given to the circle of friends, we find the wenches, the boys who come to attend the wake ceremony, they are very much casual and careless in their attitude. So as soon as they reach the house of the dead woman, the dead body of the woman is lying inside in one particular room, and we find the wake attendees, they call the roller of cigar, the muscular men who are found there. They do not know who the men are, but all they wanted is, they wanted the muscular men to prepare concupiscent curds. So they want the men to prepare ice creams by beating the thick curds. And we all know that ice cream is usually it is a delicacy served in a party, but here the men and women who have gathered, they are not prepared, and they have not really come to mourn the dead woman. They come to make it another social get together. So they simply give orders to the muscular cigarette rollers. So this cigarette rollers, it is a suggestion how America has become industrialized. So industrialist, big capitalist, they decide the economy, the American economy, and they seem to be the rulers of the humble classes. One such woman belonging to such a working class is this poverty stricken woman who is dead. So they are representing American capitalism. These big muscular men, they are all powerful, the mighty rulers. This is the impression. So in the first stanza, we are given an impression that materialism, capitalism, the big industrialists, these are the emperors of the American society. So at the hands of these men lies the fate of humble women who are poverty stricken and who are driven to the extent of making themselves bare, and they have to give away all their policies and ultimately turn to be prostitutes. So at the death of such loose, immoral women, we find the people who have attended, who have come to attend the wake, they order for the ice creams to be beaten out of the thick curds. This shows the sensual pleasure about which they are much interested rather than mourning the dead woman. And the boys, they bring flowers. So usually when a person is dead, it is a custom in the Western life to bring a bouquet to pay token of tribute to the dead soul by placing a bouquet. And this bouquet, they don't bring it neatly packed. They just roll it in the previous month's newspaper and they bring it as a formality. And the women who come, they are the wenches. The very loose moral code is found with such women who are none other than the prostitutes. These women, they come in their clothing which is very casual. The attire usually to mourn the death of a person in the Western culture. In some of the countries, people wear black clothing. In some other European countries, people are in the habit of coming in white attire. So either they should have been in black or white clothing. But here we find the benches, because they are women of loose morals. They don't have any definite code of conduct. So these women have come in a very casual clothing, and they do not walk even hurriedly. They simply dawdle. They seem to be taking very casual steps to reach the house of the dead woman. And all these men and women who have gathered in the house of the dead, they are not bothered to find out where the woman's body is lying or how the woman had died. Rather, they are making this as one more opportunity to socialize, to have a get together. And they are more sexually desirous rather than lamenting the loss of a dead soul. And in the close of this stanza, the writer is giving a caution. I told you, Wallace Stevens is very philosophical. So he says, it is all the temporary drama of life, but the concluding line of the first stanza says, the only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. So he is giving a caution, a clarion call or an alarm, making people to get alert to their senses. So he says, all the senses die and we are back to the dust, like how ice cream after its very short phase, once we don't eat up the ice cream, it melts back to its original ingredients. Like that, the Bible says man is made from a lump of dust. So once we die, we go back to the dust as one more lump of dust. So the greedy desires of life do not come with us. So all that we are going to take back when we quit this earthly life is the goodness and the actions that we have done in this run of life, which is very short. As I said, in this short span of life, what is our real achievement is the goodness, the deeds that we have done. These will stand as a testimony to our name, and these will make people remember us even after we are dead and gone. So the first stanza, the poet, he simply is trying to mock at this casual attitude of the people, the way they enjoy, the way they are materialistic, the way they make money, their sexual interest, all this. The writer seemed to be adopting a mocking tone at this casual behavior of the people, even in a funeral ceremony. That is why he closes the first stanza saying, the only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. And in the second short stanza, the poet, he is giving us a picture of cold death, the death of the woman. And this idea is given to us by not making use of direct words which could state or make us identify that the woman is dead. He is making use of words like cover the face, coldness. So these words, these word clues give us a suggestion that the woman is dead. And once again, this second stanza begins in the imperative tone, and the speaker seems to be calling somebody to take the bed sheet which is inside the dresser. Dresser is the cupboard, and the dresser is lacking 3 knobs. So knobs usually we use to lock and unlock the dresser. And this dresser, it is actually a wooden alamera, usually made of a cheap quality of wood. And this dresser is not even having the knobs properly. All these show that this is the poor condition under which the woman had lived her life. And during her lifetime, the woman seemed to have made some embroidery on a bed sheet. So the speaker is giving a command. to take that bed sheet on which the woman had embroidered fantails. Fantails are the group of birds which have their tails in the shape of a fan. Such birds we call them in general as fantails. So maybe the woman is artistically inclined to make an embroidery of fantails, and the bed sheet which now the speaker requires is that bed sheet on which fantails have been embroidered. And the speaker is also giving the second command to cover the body up to the face. This is suggestive that the woman is already dead, so only the dead body is covered up to the feet, up to the face, and the feet is protruding out, it is projecting out, because the length of the bed sheet is not enough to cover the entire body of the dead woman. So the feet which has come out makes us understand that the feet is cold. The coldness is because only when there is the flow of blood, as long as we are alive, we have the warmth in our body. So coldness suggests that the woman is already dead, she has passed away. And the feet is horny. Horny feet suggests the hardship. So she never lived a very comfortable life or a life of luxury. So all the hardships which she had bore, the difficult path by which she had travelled is suggested through the word horny feet. So the trials, the challenges of the woman, the challenges which are made to lose her own self, all these is suggested by the use of the word horny. And the speaker is also giving a third imperative. The third order is let the lamp affix its beam. So usually when there is a dead body, you place a lamp, you light incense sticks, all this to pay your respect. You garland the dead body, you bring bouquet, you clothe yourself in the mourning attire, you place a lamp or you light a candle. And the poet is very careful. He says, let this light eradicate the darkness that is associated with death. Let this death of the woman bring some illumination, like how the lamp illuminates the entire room. Let it also illuminate people out of their illiteracy and ignorance. Let people understand what is the true philosophy of life. So what is philosophical about human existence? Once again in the close of this para, he says the only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. So nothing is so stable, nothing is so permanent about our earthly existence, and all that is true about life is life has to succumb to death. Whether it is the king or the pauper, all are one before the aspect of death. Death is impartial. Death treats everyone alike. So what matters in this long run of life is, let us realize that life is short-lived, and in this short human existence, let us prove ourselves worthy of our life. Thank you.